Hi there, welcome to Sunnyside Journals. Welcome to What's on My Desk. I thought I'd turn on my camera just so that you can watch as I cut apart another book to make into a journal. I have so many of these. I actually have the entire, the whole volume set of this edition of Journeys Through Bookland. These are very, very common, very popular, gorgeous books. I just love them. I have some also, the edition that is in black and gold, which I also love. It's a little bit smaller. This is a big book. This is going to be a big journal. And again, I predict that it'll most likely be a mostly naked journal with just some little Catherines here and there. It's going to need a little bit of repair work. It's been torn down here somehow, but we can work with that. I'm always happy when an old book has had gold as the font and as some of the decoration, because I can simply I'll be able to glue this into place, and then I'm just going to put a band of gold and maybe some brads there, and it will actually end up looking really nice. So I'm not worried about that. You know what? We're always up for a challenge, right? I love the embossing on these books. Isn't that beautiful? Look how pretty that is. The back is just plain. That's fine. Now I see a little. See, there was something white like this. Looked like somebody's crumb from their lunch. It was on here, so I still have. Now this is a baby wipe. Normally I don't advise baby wipes. This one I get at my local health food store, and it is like 99.9% water. So I'm just going to see very gently if whatever that is. It feels like I could scrape it off with my finger. See what will happen? So I'm stopping the baby wipe. I'm going to let that dry and see if my eraser will take that off. This is why, see, and that's mostly water. You just got to be very careful with these really old books. Now, let's see what year this is. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm not sure. Don't let it break your heart, but oh, Marilyn Steppets? Marilyn Steppets. I was going to say don't let it break your heart if I don't use these, and obviously since it's already been cut, there's my decision made. It's already coming apart for me. Well, thank you, Journeys Through Bookland. We just want to see how old you are. Volume 8. 1922. Wow, 99 years old. Boy, if I can wait 6 more months, I could claim that this is absolutely an antique. 99, come on, that's got to count for something. Gee, that's pretty. Prospero and Miranda from The Tempest. Ooh, isn't that pretty? I'm going to make use of all of those. All right, so I'd like to see if I can, let's see if that little white mark here is dry and will come off. This is just a gnarly rubber eraser. I'm going to start with it first and see if we can just move that around. And if it's, here we go. We've got some of it coming off there. All right, I should have tried this first. Come on. There we go, coming off. Very good. Sorry if this is jiggling. I have my camera tripod up on my desk now. So, but it means that if I'm doing something vigorous, it can jiggle. Come on, let's get the rest of you off here. Well, that's pretty close. If I can't get the rest of this off, that little white fleck, which for me, it jumps out at me. Some people might not mind that, but for me, that jumps out at me. Oh, I think we're going to get that. I would just calm it down with just a little dab of Distress ink, because then it will recede. There we go. It's off. Very nice. Okay, good. Let's see if this looks like something different. I mean, these were children's books. So they and clearly have been well used and well loved. Volume 8. So as ever, I don't look for perfection in a book. And in fact, I think it's a shame when I have to cut up a book that's in nice condition. But a book that's in really well-used condition, I don't know. I just think there's such a nice charm about that. All right, let's just see if we can roll that off. Now, I'll probably use this. That would make a cool, backing on a tag, pocket in the book. This will, that will get used. Let's see back here. That's got a little bit of ink on it. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about trying to save these end papers. But that will get used. That's beautiful. Here's all the guts inside. All right, so upright as ever, and then give yourself lots of room here. Oh, maybe you're just gonna let go. All right. Are you gonna come apart without an X-Acto? Normally I would say, now we get our X-Acto and we slice down here. Well, I'll be, look at that. You want to be a junk journal. You want to fulfill your destiny, don't you? Look at that. Okay, well, that's fine with me. If you want to make my job easier, I'll take it. There, text block is out. So there is that little mess right there that we're going to have to work on a bit. Now, how is this? Sometimes, if they've just used thin paper, these liners can be a nuisance. I really, really dread when a liner is mostly disintegrating into powder, because you have to get that off, or else your glue for your new liner is not going to hold, because you're going to be trying to glue something to powder, and you can't. It won't hold. So then you've got to start scraping out the powdered old paper. This one doesn't look too bad. It's pretty good. Yep. All right. All right. Let's see in here, under there. I don't think I turned on my... Did I turn on my timer? I did turn on my timer. Yes. As ever, I get 30 minutes. That's all I get. I don't get any more. I'm trying to see. That looks like fabric, so I don't want to rip it. Because if I can pat this back into place, no, that's just not even attached anymore. If I can pat it back into place, I am happy to do that. Yep. Yeah, I think I'll be able to. And I'm going to need to make a new liner for inside. So I'm going to need my rolling pin. I think that's the width I want. I just want a gentle curve. The smaller your diameter on your wood doweling, the stronger your curve will be depending on how wide your spine is. So I think my rolling pin is going to just be perfect. Now I think what I want to do is my spine first, and then I'm going to work on repairing this little mess. Now, how big is this book? I guess I should have measured it before I started hacking it up. Where's my... There we go. Paper. Paper. Come on, paper. There we go. All right, so it is... Let's pretend the text block is in. It is, let's say it's 5 3/4. That's close enough, all right? 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. Yep, big book. And then the spine is, let's just measure this. One and a half. So I want my spine to be 1.5 by 8.5. All right, well, let's get going on that for now, because I need it made. I'm going to put it in to help support when I repair this. So usually for making the liner for the spine, I will grab my favorite thing, which is file folders. So hold on, I gotta go over here and get one. There we go. I find these constantly at my thrift stores. If you don't have thrift stores near you, just check out your dollar store. Usually you can get a package of like 10 for very reasonable price. And it's well worth it. It's cheaper than buying a package of light cardstock. For sure. I use them all the time. Whenever I see them, I buy them up. All right. Let's just... On file folders, you'll note that on one side there are some pre-scored lines in case you have a lot of paper in there. And I like to get those off right away because I have in the past forgotten that they were there or not seen them. And then I've made something that I really like or really important, and then I discover that I've used the part of the file folder that has the pre-scored lines. So when I take a file folder apart, first thing I do, get those pre-folded lines off. So now, I don't think this one will be long enough for me to... I just like to make the best use... No, that one's not long enough. I like to make the best use of my... You know what? That one's going to be... Let's see. I'll have to lose this curve. It's all right. Oh, I think I have to change the blade on my cutter. There we go. All right, so let's take this one off while we're here. Yeah. I was trying to think if I want to save that or not, and no, I have lots. All right, there. Now, so we want 8.5. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut the pieces to make my new spine liner. And I'm also going to go ahead just right now and cut the pieces for my template and also for the template that I use to poke the holes in my signatures. I just get that all done at once. If I'm cutting up file folders, I just get it all done. Yeah, look at that. Little stinker. Oh well. Oh well. I'm just going to take that off this way. There. Now, if I'm careful, I can use the measurement on my board here because I just need 1.5 inches. Let's make sure. Yeah, yay! This time we did it. I just got to lean into it, put a little weight into it. I can do that. So I need 2 to make my curved spine. I need another one to make the template that I will be sewing the signatures onto. 1.5 inches. Usually it's one signature. Most people make one signature per 1/4 inch of the spine. I like uneven, and I'd rather have more skinnier signatures. So I am anticipating, there we go. This will get used. I am anticipating 7 signatures for this. So normally most journal makers would put 6 signatures in this. There we go. Pantyhose is ready. Let's get these off. So just elastics, pantyhose. Boy, these are really, really stretchy. But as long as I can still get some width out of them, that's what applies the pressure, so that when your spine dries, you get a nice curved shape to it. Every once in a while I find I just have to remind it to unroll. This pair of pantyhose, I just cut the panties off them. It's got glue on it. That doesn't matter. I happen to find these at a thrift store, but again, good old dollar store. Just buy some pantyhose. They'll last you years. There we go. Once in a while you have to do that. It's one of the exciting parts of making a junk journal. I'm looking forward to this book. It's blue, and I like the sailing ship on the front. It's got that adventurous sailing ship on there. I do like that. I'm predicting it to be one of my all sorts books. I just love an all sorts book where I can just go nuts and put some fun stuff in it, maybe some dramatic stuff, and some, oh wow, what'd she do here kind of stuff. All right, so these two, one's going to be template, one is going to be the pokey tool. And these are going to be my spine. So this is 3-in-1 Fabri-Tac. For this part of it, I like an acetone based glue because it will evaporate without buckling this cardstock, and it will hold the new shape from being wrapped around the rolling pin. Now, for me right now, it's morning. This is usually something that I will do closer to the end of the day, and I'll just leave it overnight. So, and I do have some other things I'm working on right now. So I don't mind. This will just get extra time. Doesn't matter. They dry very quickly. You can, if you put your hands on either side, you'll feel it suddenly gets cold. The chemical reaction of the evaporation. It's cool. All right, so what I do next is I make sure, here I'm going to stand up. I make sure that I've got it parallel to my rolling pin, and I just start getting it to enjoy its new little home. And I will put hair elastics around the end. Actually, I want this down a bit. There we go. It's very important that as you get it, you know, east-west, west-east, as best you can. If it's the slightest bit askew, like a candy cane, your book will be, it won't lay nicely because the spine's going to want to twist. You're going to have created a book with a curved spine. All right, so then what I do is I leave myself a little bit of room here, and I start wrapping like a candy cane. Nice and tight and snug. And don't worry too much at this point if you're seeing parts of the cardstock through it, because you're going to use the other leg in the other direction. So now what I do is I roll that elastic off a bit, and I finish wrapping the pantyhose. I know I've mentioned it before. I'm horribly repetitive, but I always worry for new people that maybe haven't seen me do this before. One of these days I'm going to have to experiment and see if these elastics leave dents in the paper at the end. It would be easier if I could just leave the elastic right there. My worry is because it's damp from the glue, if I just leave that elastic there, that it's actually going to leave dents, which I don't want. I want a nice smooth spine, especially if you're rebuilding a spine from old bookbinding cheap cloth. It's not expensive, these book series. Dents and divots and curves will show through that old fabric. So that's why I will move my elastics and just let the pantyhose do its job. There we go. Now, usually I will do pantyhose in two directions. What I would do normally is wrap it in the other direction. But I've got good coverage there. So I'm not too worried about rewrapping with this because I took the time and made them wide again instead of the skinny ones. So that's good enough. But I will keep these together. And I'm just going to leave that overnight. And next time we get together, it's going to be a beautiful little spine. So now, one of the jobs that I just detest when I'm making a junk journal, and there's not many parts of it that I detest, but creating the signature template really is not my favorite thing to do. So normally what I will do is get it over with, and then I know it's ready to go for when I need it. I find it easiest to make mine on a cutting board that has grids on it, and that way I can just simply find the center right away, and then I know that I've at least got the center, and then I know that I have to fill in this case I'll need 3 on either side. So then I will usually, it's nice when it works out that it's the 1/4 inch, but as you know, I always go up. So I get out my ruler and I just look and see if there's going to be an easy way to do 3. Sometimes it's easier to just go to the centimeters. Am I in camera? I am. And this time, yes, centimeters is going to work out fine. So I will just, and that gives me 3. And then I'll go over onto the other side. Uh-oh, I think I'm going to sneeze. There we go, and I'll do it again. I don't worry so much if this line on this side and on that side, that it's actually not as much room. It has more space because of the hinge for the front covers. So it's quite forgiving if these are not completely even. So don't panic and think, oh, I have to start all over again. You really don't. It's quite forgiving if you're not right on. And also the threads are quite forgiving. When you start sewing them in, the threads will adjust and move in order to get everything in and sewn in. I don't want to use this ruler. Where's my other one? There, I like this one for when I'm doing this part. The threads will accommodate it, and it all works out. All right. So I get this done, then I can put it out of my mind and just enjoy. Like I said, it's probably the only part of making a book that I don't enjoy is this thing. You're not. There we go. There. Oh, man. Those of you that have arthritis, do you ever get a joint that just decides, nah, I'm going to lock up on you? You thought you wanted your finger stretched out, but no. Your finger wants to bend, and it wants to just stay cramped and bent. Yikes. There we go. I really love mechanical pencils for this part. Oh, where did the time go? Okay, hold on, I'm coming. I really enjoy mechanical pencils for this part. I find that I can see better where I'm going to put my lines. Now, I'm going to try and be really quick here and show you this part of it that I don't hate so much. I go back and I use my grid lines. So I marry up my center lines. And then what I look for, hold on. See, I went and cleaned it once. And because it's covered in it's covered in 3-in-1 glue, and I thought, oh well, that's acetone takes that off, and yeah, acetone does take it off, and it takes off all the paint as well. All right, so what I do next is I actually will use the grid lines now in this case to make the crosswise ones, and I always go up. I always go in a 1/2 inch of the bottom, 1/2 inch from the bottom. And then at the top here, now see, I have to move it because I went and took the paint off of it. There we go. So that is there. And then I will find the center and I'll just put usually a 1 inch in. I usually do 3, so it's a 6-hole running stitch that I do in my signatures. And I find that more than sufficient for most books. Will hold everything in nicely, because if I put papers up here, these 2 will hold. If I put papers down here, you know, because I use a varied size of papers all the time. And then of course the center one will hold anything in the center. So, you know, that's what I do. And then I just marry those up. So I find a 1/2 inch away from the top and from the bottom is more than enough. And the nice thing about doing it this way is your center one really doesn't have to be, don't worry about, oh, is it dead center? I can't do it dead center. It doesn't need to be dead center. It just needs to be consistent so that all of your signatures, like right off the bat, right top, and that way if there's any flaw, it'll still accept all of your signatures that you've created. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So that even if it's not perfectly even, your signatures will be fine. So if this is 8.5, that means 4 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4. So here's our center, but I want it to be 1 inch. I hope I'm not running out of time. I'm really pushing my luck here. Oh, rats. I'm really pushing my luck. Let me see. 32 minutes. Okay, well, with this one, I'll simply mark off, you know. Have a great rest of your day. I hope you're hearing me say goodbye. Goodbye. I'm at 32 minutes. Take care.